Welcome to another episode of Pear Tree Ranchin'. I'm Jake, and this is our Problem Horse series. We're following the journey of Cisco, who's behind me there. This horse was rearing and flipping over. We're into our last week of training and get ready to start transitioning to sending him home. So we know it's a never-ending journey, but his owner Vicki is here. She's going to chat with us, and you're going to get to watch our process of getting her to know how to handle the horse with what we've done with him and start getting back to having rides on this horse. So follow along. One, two, weekend at Bernie's. Make me shush your noggin. There you go. Now let's just kick it on up softly to its feet. That's it. Ta-da! Okay, we have Vicki here, and she's just going to chat with us a bit. I just want to hear from Vicki. What have you learned so far? What have you experienced? What do you think about the progress we've made with Cisco? How do you feel about your horse's progress? Share with the people. What's been your experience?
Well, I feel like I've learned a lot about where he gets locked up when he gets under pressure. That's when he seems to react and rear and what have you. And one of the lessons you were doing with him when he went to the left, I believe, is where he had an uncoordinated thing, and that's when he didn't know what to do. I'm really pleased with his success that he's had here. He's calm. He's a different horse.
Good.
And I'm excited to see where this takes us.
Good. So we're going to start. In the beginning, when I send horses home, I encourage owners through the process. Our training packages are 4-week blocks. I encourage people to be here once a week to see the progress of the horse, talk about where we've been, and then throughout the week, if there's anything big, exciting, a first ride that they might miss, we try to get that filmed so they don't miss out and they have that for themselves. And so Vicki's been here every week to see the progress, and we chat and follow up on what have we been doing. And at the last week, I encourage people at a minimum to try to be here 3 days. And usually how that process goes is we do a day of monkey see, monkey do. So I do it, and then I'll help Vicki do it, and then I'll do it and help Vicki do it. And that kind of starts us getting the owner in the mix. Then we try to do a little more of coaching where the owner is doing it. I'm right there to help as needed, but I'm doing less. And then hopefully on the last day, we do the smile and wave lesson where I get to sit in the chair, smile and wave, and they get to enjoy their horse. So that's my goal. And it all comes down to how does the horse feel? What is the horse wanting to allow us to be progressive with? And that's where we start, and we work our way from there. So today's the beginning of kind of monkey see, monkey do. So you guys are going to see me explaining to Vicki, okay, here's where we start. She's seen a lot of this through the weeks, and then start having her handle the horse. So we're glad you're here and excited. Okay, first thing we're going to do, relax, head down, even under perceived duress. So we're going to take the flag, start working the flag around, and I might do 1, 2, 3. Don't make me shush your noggin. So 1, 2, and if he starts to relax that head, I'm going to knock it off. Okay. Now, if I go to 1, 2, 3, and nothing happens, we're gonna shush the noggin. Okay. And this is the process we started. So we were just talking about the first video in the series. Actually, it was up this morning. You see how did we start teaching that? And so we drive at the line of the halter here. That helps them understand. And then when the secret little part that we sometimes need to go to is we have our rope hand pushing down on that halter. And when I can push and have him yield, he starts to bring that nose forward and down. That's all just off of the rope. Okay.
Now, do you do them, if he's not lowering the head, do you do them together?
What a lot of times I'll do is I'll take this hand and I'll hook my thumb in my pocket. And so I'm ready with this. And so if he pulls his head up, he'll make that rope get taut. Okay. See how he pulls that? That pulled against the halter. He put his head down because he felt the feel of the halter.
Okay.
The flag was shushing under here. That makes his head go up.
Right.
And see how he sucks back?
Mm-hmm.
He feels the rope start to get taut, and he puts his head down because of the rope.
Okay.
Okay, so it's the secret little backup that's in there. But I would like to keep that slack. 1, 2, 3. Don't make me shush your noggin. Okay? Now, in the process, one of the easiest ways for you to feel what I feel in my hand is sometimes for me to help hold your hand. So you got to speak up. You're like,
So when do I have my finger off of the rope or on the rope?
You can have it, and I want you to feel this. Okay. And so if we push with our tricep, that's a pushing muscle. So your chest, your shoulders, and your triceps are pushing muscles. And if we can push that down, and then you can use your finger to put a little steady feel. There he goes. Okay, so you can feel that.
Okay.
And then this, we're gonna think about. 1, 2, 3. Don't make me shush your noggin. And we don't need to shush him because he tried to relax the head. Now, this is what it would feel like if we did.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Now, take a few goes at that, and then what we do is we start needing to be able to move to the middle, wander around, anytime, any place. If something starts happening, or like if you know, my in-laws got a big Italian family, and everybody's talking, and it's like, why is everyone so angry? It's like, no one's angry. We're just talking loud. Okay, we got to be comfortable with and get horses used to. Some people are just loud, and it's not about you. Okay, don't take it personally is the idea. And when we can help the horse feel good about that, they feel settled. We can get sucked into this. If you stay really quiet, the horse will be quiet. That's a smart thing to be aware of. Like, don't just be rude, but at the same time, we get to tiptoeing around horses, and they train us to be quiet. That's not helpful. We need to train them to be quiet. Okay, and so we want to be careful about tiptoeing. Okay, just fiddle with that a few times. Get comfortable with 1, 2, 3. Don't make me shush your noggin. And you're not hurting him if you practice just shushing his nose. Okay. It's an important thing to get comfortable with. We talked last week. You're like, why did you in his face? It's part of this communication that he understands that as a way to get his attention. Okay. It's like if somebody's going, ah, ah. Oh, thanks. I needed that. Okay. Like you get their attention. Like, hey, and you're trying to do it polite. If we go, excuse me, you're being silly. Oh, sorry. Okay, but when somebody's really emotional and freaking out, you might have to take them to get their attention. Okay. Do enough to interrupt the behavior. And that's what we're doing. And we put a lot of effort and energy into interrupting his inappropriate programs, reinserting more appropriate behaviors like, okay, fiddle with that a little bit.
Good boy. Good boy.
Good. Perfect.
Good job.
So now we notice that with the way we're playing with him, yesterday was one of the first few days that I did the groundwork with the hackamore on. He can only put his head so low because he'll start running into the reins. Okay. Does that make sense? So if he puts his head down, see now this rein is getting taut. And so we have to be careful that we don't say, oh, he's not doing it enough. With those reins, with those reins perfectly, like see now that's creating a backup because he can only put his head so low. Right. So we got to be mindful, and this is just going to help us in between that we don't need to shift. We're trying to minimize groundwork, maximize riding time. Groundwork can be fun. We can have a lot of bonding built from that, teach them lots of good things, but at the same time, most people own horses because they want to ride them, okay? So we're trying to do as little of this as we need to, so we can do as much as we want, but most of us want to do the riding. Even if we need to do sitting still and rubbing on the horse, it's a little more fun when we're sitting up there, okay? So now what I want you to do is kind of go for a walk, or cruise around the round pen. You're going to finish in the middle, and every few, you're like, oh, I think it's that time where I kind of do the thing, okay?
So I'm just going to be like leading him?
You just lead him around here, and when you lead, think about Weekend at Bernie's. Okay, you want to have your arms really relaxed where you're not.
Yeah.
This is tension. Okay, like see, as soon as I did that, he's like, "What's your problem?" He starts backing off. We get our biceps tight, our forearms clenched, we get all tense, and they go, "You got something wrong with you," versus wobble with a. We just want to be really easy and relaxed. And when we can mosey around like that, and then every once in a while we're like, man, you know what I like? I like roping. I like swinging ropes. And the horse just gets used to us. You know what I like? Sword fighting. And you're swinging your flag. You're just being a weird human. And they just go, not human. Weirdo. They get used to us being a bit silly with stuff. And they start to read the situation of you're being weird versus I need something from you. Now we get really clear when we turn it on. Now, tip number 2. Never, ever, never wad up the rope.
Okay.
One piece in your hand. When we get all this wadded up or we do this and the horse pulls.
Right, right.
Okay. If I were to do anything, I would fold it, but I hold the rope in my hand, so I've still got one piece, and I maybe manage my slack. A lot of times I'll do it in my stick hand, so I still have 2 hands on the rope, but I've only got one piece of rope in the hand.
Gotcha.
And if I ever do this, I'll fold it, and it's just to keep it out from underfoot. This rope goes right in the washing machine. Just let it get dirty, it won't hurt it. Okay? There you go. Just relax that arm. Just let that rope get really long. There you go. Okay. Now, imaginary sword fight some flies. 1, 2, there you go.
Now, when he does it on the 2, do I stop swishing flies? Okay.
You can. And now, one day you want to build up to, like you do you and he does him. But in the beginning here, it's important training for you as horsemanship skills to quit when he's doing the desired behavior. Okay? Just walk. Let that rope slide. There you got more relaxed. Good. And randomly sword fight some flies. 1, 2, 3. Don't make me shush your noggin. There you go. Super. Okay? We'll just stop right there. So this is an important skill to learn. It can feel uncomfortable at first when we're shushing in their face. It's not about hitting them in the face. It's about teaching them do the opposite of what they genetically, their DNA tells them. When that gets going in your face, be protective. Okay? And this is a big deal. And this helps them act less like a prey animal, more like a partner. Okay, next thing that we're going to do, we're going to work on going sideways down the fence. So, what I want you to do, Vicki, is you're going to walk where you can keep your rope hand. The lead rope is in your left hand. You're going to keep that next to the fence.
Okay.
You're mostly just going to need to get by the fence and start walking down the fence line. The stick stays in front of you. It might need to shush a little bit to encourage him to go, but he knows this enough that once you kind of get in that position, he's more than likely going to go, oh, we're doing the sideways thing, and just kind of be ready to go. Okay? So you're going to step to the fence. There you go. And if you need to, you can pick up the stick. Push his nose first, then his neck. There he goes, and you hold the rope, relax. There you go, thumb is in your pocket, and if you just need to lift up the stick, try holding it like a sword or a tennis racket. There you go. There, perfect. And you're just gonna allow him to stretch and relax. He's only gonna be able to put his nose so far right now because of the way the reins are set. And you just mosey on down here. Take note of the left front and the left hind are stepping in front of the rights. And there, I would stop. He takes a little deep breath, and he had a lot of rhythm where he never stepped perfectly next to. He maintained that stepping across and crossing his feet. Okay, so now you can switch hands, keep your back against the fence. Okay, you could walk backwards down the fence if you wanted to have him come forward and to you. That's it. And then lift up the stick ever so politely and encourage him to come around you. That's it. Take your time. Beautiful. And then you walk down the fence, keeping your hand with the rope close to the fence. You can use that flag to encourage him to go. There you go. And you just mosey on down the fence. Okay? That's it. Just keep walking. And if he stops, lightly lift up the flag to encourage him to go. And he's just going slow. See him looking at you? He's asking the question, are we doing this or are we standing still? There you go. So now he's kind of reading the situation. He's feeling you go, yep, we're going. There, see, and he looks to you. That's the connection that we want from that horse, where the horse is trying to feel for us and we're feeling for them. We get all that going together. There you go. That's it. The reason we want to stay close to the fence with our rope hand is it keeps us from opening a gap in between us and the fence that maybe the horse thinks that we want them to go through there. There's a time when we'll do this off the fence, but for now, this is a great way to have the fence help us keep his weight back and relaxed. And the fence keeps him from rushing. There you go, and you can stop. And you might go 1, 2, 3. Don't make me shush your noggin with the flag. 1, 2. There he goes. Okay, and if the head's still up a little bit, you just give him a little shush at the nose. And you keep that up until he, there, relaxes that head. And if he still brings it right back up, you would just re-engage that conversation till he keeps that head down there and relaxed more. See, that head got more level and even. Beautiful. Great job. Okay, next what we're going to do is we're going to work on the circle. I want you to stand against the fence here so that you can see. And what we're going to look at is inviting him to go, but being prepared to say, don't rush off. Okay, we're going to look at least 2 different ways that we can do that. If I hold this relaxed and I swing this stick, see how that got me nose, neck. Next that needs to go is the shoulder. There goes the shoulder, and then the ribs and hip follow. Now, I like that he's just walking off. If he were to get busy, I could start kind of swinging this around and get a bit busier myself, so he kind of goes, what are you doing? And that gets his attention, and maybe he goes, I think I could maybe walk. Okay? The other thing we can do is use the rope. That if he gets going, I'm going to ask him to trot here. He's being really good. I'm just going to go, hey, you can slow down, okay? I'm taking that rope and I'm swinging it in a horizontal plane. So as he goes, it comes in front of his nose to encourage him to go backwards, okay? Backwards from a trot is a walk, okay? Now, we can also take the rope and push him forward. You know, he stepped into the slack and my hand was just fixed. Okay? Once we have that working, And we can just keep that rope moving at a speed that holds the walk. See how he's not rushing off? So now if I take the rope and I swing it faster, and then maybe I swing the rope slower, see as he gets ahead, he runs into it. And so he goes, oh, I'm running into that feel on my nose. I can just slow down. Okay? And then at any time in this process, I want to see, can I confuse you by swinging this around? It got his attention, but he thought slow down, not rush off. And that is important, because if his get startled as rush and we're riding him, a lot of times the next thing that happens is bang in the face, and is what happens. Okay, so I'd rather he be more in a hurry to slow down so that we don't accidentally bang him in the face. Much easier when we ride to keep our hands quiet when the horse is going slower. And if I turn slower, I want to see him relax. Okay? And then eventually, we'll start getting a little more and more. I can cluck, cluck. Help clarify, like, it's okay to canter. Okay? And I like that he got the inside lead right away. There's times where he'll get the outside lead, and that just tells us his mind's a little bothered. Slow it down. Take the rope. I love that he walked. I would take a deep breath and go, man, it's nice that you walked. Okay? Really nice. Okay, your turn. Take your time. When in doubt, go slower. No rush. That's it. Perfect. Very good. Notice how the head and neck stretched into that walk. That's the first signs of him going more forward. It's important for us to recognize that is more forward when the head and neck goes down, so we can reward, that's the thought of more forward. Okay? Perfect. Just what we want to see. Okay, let's go the other way. You're doing really good with your rope and stick handling. Beautiful. I want him to know how okay that is. That takes the rush out of the horse. Do I want my horses snappy and ready to canter off on a dime? You better believe it. But not at the expense of their mental and emotional relaxation. Okay, now let's just kick it on up softly to a trot. Perfect. And then stop. Perfect. And just bring him to you and rub on him. There, see how he looks to you with them 2 eyes and 2 ears? That's a great look. And when we can just reward that, connect with the horse more, love on him, it's a super way to be. Okay, let's go the other way, and then we'll move our way up to the canter. Good, and then a little faster. That's okay, that's okay. We'll do, let's go ahead up or work our way up to the canter this time. Okay? Again, we can always do more later. So it's like, if we get to feeling rushed, like we're not doing enough and we need to do more, that can be a slippery slope. We do need to do more, but the saying I like to say is like, you can whack them with that stick more later. There you go. Now, let's stop him and rub on him. Let's look at something for a second. It's a common habit that people do, and it's, for me, a dangerous one. We just spent a lot of time teaching him that this means relax, right? How did you ask him to canter?
Yeah.
Okay, so what we do is notice if I do this, that's never going to run into him.
Yeah.
I don't want him to see how he now might think that might mean go. So I need to say, hey, no way. Put your mind in the middle and relax. Okay. This is never going to run into him. Hey. No, it doesn't mess it up. We just got to clarify to him that that doesn't mean anything. So if I get this going right here, like this dirt is dirty dirt. Look at this. Look at all this dirt. Okay, that's never going to run into it. So if I want to ask him to go, I want to make sure I'm being really honest that that's going to run into him. He sees it coming. Okay, versus this isn't going to get to him, so I don't want him to read that as about him. Okay, that's how I should be able to stand next to somebody that's doing all this stuff. So we just finished talking about the camera's overheating. We first world problems. My darn super nice camera keeps overheating. It's so hot. We just talked about how do we keep our feet more still? How do we not cause the horse to feel chased by moving and walking on a circle? And then reading what the feet are doing. So if he's cross-firing or taking the outside lead, how do we be patient or give a little bit of energy with a stick to help him find the inside lead? And we got to read those feet, as that's just his mental and emotional state not being balanced. And when he does get that inside lead, he immediately started to blow out and relax. So I think he's doing a great job of finding the balance, adding these little bit of horsemanship skills that we're giving her to improve on what she's already doing nicely. And the horse is taking right to it. And again, look, they're hanging out, cuddling. It's a good deal. So we're going to move on from the circle work, and we're going to look at doing our horse burpees, the old rope behind the horn or over the withers move. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take the rope, we're going to come behind the horn and around, and so the horse has to follow his nose around, untrack the hindquarters, and turn in a circle. And by doing it behind the horn versus behind the butt, the reins are in a position much more appropriate to where we're going to ride with our hands. I don't ride with the reins back there on the butt. Okay, and so why do we do our groundwork that way? Now we do it that way in the beginning to teach the horse to move, and then we move it up behind the cantle and then up behind the horn. Okay, so go ahead and you're going to take this. You can just set that on the ground. We'll go over the head, behind the horn. I want to be able to sit here and rub on the horse. Hey, buddy. Okay. And I'll just take that feel, lift it up so that it slides, and I don't need to move my feet or do anything.
Okay.
Okay, your turn. That's it. Ta-da! Okay, that's it. Bring them to you and rub on him. So we'll do that on both sides, but I call that horse burpees, and it's just a great way. You get all the body parts going in all the directions, and it's a great systems check, and the horse has to really be thoughtful. Okay, so we're kind of wrapping up the groundwork, and I'm going to end this video here, and we'll restart the next video with me getting on and riding the horse, showing Vicki that, and then having her have her first ride back on that horse, and that just keep the video from being too crazy long. So if you like what we're doing, we appreciate the old thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, you can click here. If you want to see the next video, you can click here. We'll see you next time.